Okay, I'm trying push block again. I'm hoping this goes better than last week. So, the main climb I wanted to go for is the 6C+. It starts here, traversing along the bottom there into the corner, and then it finishes up on push. Now I've done push before, that was in I think the last climbing video that I did. Technically the one before, but the last one that got uploaded because I can't upload the last one. And I spent about 3 hours on this climb last Sunday, trying to get it done. There is not a hard move on this climb. I just couldn't do the last move by the time I got there from the start. So, I'm going to hope it goes this time. Otherwise I'm going to be done with this block for a bit and find some other projects to work on. There is some 6s just down, like right under that bit there. There's a bit of rock that I've never looked too much at, so I'll look at them maybe on the way out, or maybe a bit later if I manage to get this done. I'll be annoyed if I can't again. I do feel a little bit anxious about it, but we'll give it a crack. I'm going to put my shoes on first. So I think what I'm going to do to help warm the fingers up before I jump on the 6C Plus is try the 6C, which starts here, traverses along the end and finishes on the same thing. So it comes along the low line there as well, instead of going the higher line, which I did a couple of sessions back. In theory, nice easy moves to help warm the fingers up. Okay. Okay. A little bit unexpected. Well, I'll flash a 6C. Can at least be moderately happy about that. My cardio is rubbish. Oh, that should not have made me out of breath. So 6C, V5. Okay, I can be pretty satisfied with that as a flashpoint. 6C Plus is also a V5 but slightly harder. Geez, I don't know whether to get on that or not. I also don't know whether that technically counts as a flash, because even though I've not attempted that climb before, I have used every hold before. I mean, that traverse along to here and then going up along this higher line was an easier climb that I did 2 sessions back. The climb up the Eretta's push, that I've done a couple of times now. Then there's the holds here going through up to the roof. That was one climb that I've done. But that was the first attempt at that particular climb, so I think I can count it as a flash. It's one of those kind of blurry lines, really. Because I noticed when I watched the footage back last time, because annoyingly I was able to edit that video that was on my E drive. I just couldn't then do anything afterwards, but I noticed you couldn't really see the feet from where I had the camera before. So what I want to do here is try and get the feet in, but also be able to get that top hold in. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. Oh, that's not going to stand there. Too much of a slope. I wonder whether... Oh, if I had a second camera, this would be a good place to put a B camera. But I think for a main camera it's going to be a bit too far away. That's a shame. I have actually been thinking about picking up another one of these cameras, because what I have is the Adventure combo, which was the camera, which is an Osmo Action 4, plus 2 extra batteries and a battery charger case, which holds 3 batteries. You can now pick them up, that particular package, for 329 quid, which is an incredible bargain, to be honest. I think I paid 400 and something when I picked mine up. But now that the Action 5 is out, it's obviously made the 4 cheaper. The return rates on the 5 seems to be pretty high, because it's a pretty worthless upgrade from what I've seen, not really worth it. The 4s, on the other hand, are great. But yeah, if I had 2 cameras, I could put one each end of the rock, which particularly for doing traverses like this would be helpful, because there's lens distortion. If I shot in 1080p, I could do it without the lens distortion, but I don't think I'd fit the whole rock into frame. Plus, YouTube seems to kill 1080 footage. So the recommendation is to upload at 4K, even if you're upscaling 1080 to 4K. Which is why the photography video yesterday is 4K, and that is full 4K, as recorded. I didn't like the compression when I first put it up, it looked horrible. So I re-exported it as 4K, uploaded it as 4K, and it looks a hell of a lot better. Anyway, I need to get back on this. I think probably I'm just going to end up putting you back where I started with. I can, however, angle you more for that climb. The other thing I could do is buy one of these tripod things, but with a longer extension arm. That's about 20 odd quid, I think. I might do that, though. I don't know how they cope in the wind. Not that it's particularly windy today. But that will let me keep the camera where it is now, but be able to put it high enough that you can actually see the feet and probably the top. But never mind. Right. Damn it. Don't do this to me, climb. Oh, these are not as grippy as they were last week. Oh, why? I just did that move so easy on the last one. The first couple of moves, there are no footholds, so it's pretty much all in your arms. And I think that's what really kills you on this one. I mean, it's an easy enough traverse, but the strain on your arms to then go into that. It'll go. But yeah, that is what makes the grade. You'd have thought the one that's, what we're looking at, about 25% longer, that first one I did. You think the longer one would be the harder one. what I also noticed, something that I did once last week while I was here, unintentionally, though I did notice it at the time. What I did intentionally this time was going from this one, I cut out this side pull here and just went straight up to the jug, which in theory should save me a little bit of energy because I'm not having to catch in on that side pull. But it's a bit of a bigger move. I still feel like I fall back a little bit, but if I catch it, I'm fine. Gosh, just that last move when I get there. Right, I'm going to give it 5 minutes and then I'm going to try again. Alrighty then, let's go again. It's been 2 or 3 minutes. Fingers are still warm. Aching's gone a bit. Pumping the arms has gone a bit. So let's give it another go. Let's put you there. Is it going to stand? Yes, it's going to stand. Okay. Also, I'm about 25% of the way through this battery and realised that I have not brought the spares with me. Fairly certain they are still in the van. I do have a portable charger though, but in order to charge up I'd have to use the USB-C port, which means I'd have to unplug the microphone. However, it's not that windy and the onboard microphone's pretty decent, so it should be alright if I have to come to that. Right then. Oh! Oh! Fingers over. Slowly edging closer. Okay. These holes though, man, they're feeling a bit greasy today. They were nice and grippy last week. Although last week was all sun, this week's been quite wet. It's dried up pretty fast once the rain has stopped, but still, been a lot of moisture around. let me just show you. On the arete here, come into it here, there's pretty much nothing, it's just all the arete. There's maybe a little bit there for the finger if you can get up high enough, but that's just that. But when you bump up to here, there's actually a bit of a lip there, and you get in on that. And if you can press your thumb in there as well, that's a really nice solid grip. And that is how you use that arete. Let's just brush out this foothold a little bit. Okay. I think then I'm good to go again there. Right, come on. Nope. Yes! Whew. Why didn't you do that last week? I very nearly dropped that. That was just my first pads over, and I felt it slip back. Then I banged this elbow on summit, but well, that vindicates last week's session. Okay, gonna rest up and think about what I want to do next then. It was about 8:20 when I got here. It's 27 minutes past 9 now, so it's about an hour. I'm gonna call this climbing session here because I got what I really came after. I got the 6C as well. I've got one climb left to do on this bit of rock, which is a 6B plus. And I know I'd be able to do it if I knew what the first move was. That's what I can't figure out. So it starts down here. It comes up through the roof and finishes up there. This is the climb that I thought I did as the third climb on the previous video here. And it turns out now I've done the easier 6A, which is a very similar line, which is what confused me. It wasn't until I got home and was watching the videos back, doing the editing, that I realised I'd read that wrong. So yes, a 6B plus I've got left on here. I think the move is to go from there with the left foot there maybe, and roll the left hand over into there. I think that's the move. But I couldn't make it work. I was able to get hand up just about there, but I couldn't get in. Another way to do it could be traverse across and do the 7A start, 6A start up there into there, and then go up through the roof. That way I know I can make work, but I feel like for the grade that rollover's the actual move. But even if it isn't, I would still like to come back and get that move at some point. But I'm not going to do it now, because honestly I'm done climbing for this week. My fingers have been aching all week, particularly the middle ones. My elbows ache, so I need a proper break. So I think next week's going to be focused on doing some endurance training at the wall. That's about 20 minutes of a circuit. I'll do some light climbing, but I don't think I'm going to do any pull hard stuff next week. I'm just going to focus more on building endurance rather than power stuff. I say that, but I think we've got good weather coming, so I might be back down here as well. Yeah, this 6B plus I think I'm going to leave for when I just want a play session rather than a get a grade session. So if I'm down here with someone else and we're just having some fun, I'll go for it then. I'm not bothered about getting that one on the vlog. Right, last thing I'm going to look at is pine buttress down here. So that there is the path, the walkway. Then we've got this one here, which I've never looked at properly before until about 5 minutes ago. I've seen it, I've had a quick glance at it, but it's not one that gets mentioned a lot. So there are 4 climbs on this one. There's a 6A plus, a 6B plus and 2 6C pluses. And the one that really got my attention, this one here, the 6C plus, it's called Left Pine. Starts on this undercut here. I think it's a match start on that. Coming up to here, up to there. I'm going to need to check what the top is. I don't think it's a top out. I think it just finishes along the break there, the climbs on this one. But this climb here, that looks and feels like a proper moonboard problem. And at a 6C plus, that would be a V5, which I've done a couple of V5 moonboard problems. So that's potentially in my wheelhouse. Then there's a climb going up there. The start hold on the right hand here is really good, nice pockety, no bats hiding in there. So that was the 6A plus, I think, going up there. Then there's the 6B plus, I think it was, that starts on the same hold, comes across and up to somewhere around there-ish, or maybe there. Again, I don't see this as looking like a top out block. Then the other 6C plus, it says start on the right, so it must be somewhere around here, and then traverse left to get back onto this 6C plus here, which are kind of wild that it kind of doubles the climb but does absolutely nothing to the grade. I mean, the only thing I can see that's potentially making that easier is you're not traversing into the undercut. But yes, I am looking forward to getting onto this bit of rock at some point. The landing zone looks decent. This also apparently is climbable all year round, as it's pretty sheltered from the rain. You just get some downpour if it's been heavy rain, not downpour, runoff. But other than that, it stays dry, according to the guidebook. So we've got Cottage Rocks just up round the corner there. Pine Buttress here. And then walking back up here, we have Bush Block. Some great climbs, all packed together quite well. So what I'm going to do now is drop the climbing stuff back in the van, and I think maybe go for a walk around before I head home. I'm just happy I got that 6C plus, whatever it was called. I should find out the name for it. What was it? Push the week around. Again, this camera doesn't really focus on stuff very well up close like that. I think that was 3 attempts today it took to do that. I could finish the top up a little cleaner. But, ah well. That's future climbing. Now I need to decide which way around I want to walk. Usually I'll go over to the left side of the mill pond, along that way, all the way along until I reach the road. But I think this time I might go past Ouzel Crag and around that way, which tends to be a bit steeper, depending which way you go. Yeah, right, packing all this up.